cocaine. Why is the speaker speaking?
In Parliament the Kingston.
Eric with a newspaper reading.
In Parliament the Kingston.
They want to stop old people from driving.
In Parliament the Kingston.
That the long say joke they're making.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Kingston all the time. They're blowing everybody's mind. Kingston all the time. Oh yeah, yeah. I think the government in this country should treat the people more seriously when they have their parliament meeting. Something constructive should be happening. I visit them one evening in the parliament meeting. But what I see happening? Like these people high over cocaine. Why is the speaker speaking?
In Parliament the Kingston.
Eric with a newspaper reading.
In Parliament the Kingston.
They want to stop old people from driving.
In Parliament the Kingston.
That the long say joke they're making.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Kingston all the time. They're blowing everybody's mind. Kingston all the time. They're blowing everybody's mind. I know this country have problems and there's nobody to solve them. The opposition making gross so the big boys could play in the house. We can't get lights, neither water. Look at the situation with Wassa. They're only making confusion, building calls for horses to run. Why is the speaker speaking?
In Parliament the Kingston.
Murray with Tobago flag flying.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Sean Pandey always arguing.
In Parliament the Kingston.
They want to build cars for horse racing.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Kingston all the time. Blowing everybody's mind. Kingston all the time. Blowing everybody's mind. Food stuff on a shortage daily. Business places burning in the city. Before they watch these things seriously, the whole meeting is a comedy. Ridicule and the fatty giving, and all of the members laughing. Whilst they having a good time, we catching we royal behind. Why is the speaker speaking?
In Parliament the Kingston.
Working making sweet I for selling.
In Parliament the Kingston.
So much of dirty water we drinking.
In Parliament the Kingston.
We have a telephone and it's working.
In Parliament the Kingston.
The preparing for election coming.
In Parliament the Kingston.
So he put a cabinet in the kitchen.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Every day Sicky playing.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Nothing in the country walking.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
In Parliament
I really admire the behavior of the opposition. Shah and Pandey, they are always fighting among each other. I believe they are really great lovers of themselves.
In Parliament the Kingston.
Send me down like prophets of old to cool this tongue, keep it for control. Me ain't get no vision and thing, neither no big message to bring. All they tell me amen, as a Kystonian, go and sing this song through the land. Keep singing every day, remember, I'm saying. But if you fly nice, forget movies and them schoolgirls tell that books and sex doesn't mix too well. Tell the youth who gone off on dope that they are the future and hope. Tell them if they do right, nothing wouldn't go right. It's them and the old country flight. And keep singing every day. Remember, man, say
What's sweet and gold bound, that's how I eat it, bam, bam.
what give you flying eyes, same thing just make you cry.
Sweet and gold bound, that's how I eat it, bam, bam.
Little bit of treasure, little bit of pleasure. So you take and you take and you take and you take. We say
What's sweet and gold bound, that's how I
They say when you don't have good food, you must take in front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go. There is no place in the world like Grenada. Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong about his party. He'll deal with you so seriously, and from there on, you are his enemy. But as man, I must open my big mouth to lament on some things you know about. So the bother come attack me, don't waste your time on a old jungle like me. Pie in the sky, promises and mama guy. Voters say their expectations were too high. Like the old proverb from way back long, you want to be wrong and strong. Some people bawling with their mouth closed. How they do that, only God knows. Man who could talk, they bawling with their jaws locked. I thought only dummies used to do that. A lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She said we had enough under Claudius, so nothing wrong if baby Jesus kill us. All those who claim that they love country more than party, the truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see. Some things are morally wrong and unethical, are considered as politically essential. Their backs are against the wall, but you still can't tell them they're wrong at all. $2,000 increase on your salary, but you cut for people on by $150. I wonder who advising you. Old people go drop bam bam on you. You promise to improve standard of living, but I'm seeing more pain, hurt and suffering. Would you stop for a while and listen to me? Please don't send one more family into poverty. They're crying with their mouths closed. How they do that, only God knows. They're afraid to talk your supporters on the attack when they say is that, is that. A man told me as a strong foot soldier since June 23rd he ain't make $1. When he checked them, hear what they go say. You was wearing a green jersey one Sunday. I'm a strong supporter of the transformation agenda. It could be done with minimal errors, but tribalism and partisan politics messed up the Congress genetics. Mr. PM, you must stick to your promises. A lot of people voted you on these premises. How could you fool big people so? With pension, permanent, and no money galore. Now they're expecting you to deliver, but your conversation becomes so different. If your mind change, complain and tell us. Remember you are Grenada, Jesus. You promise happiness and better days, but we sing the opposite in many ways. Man don't go down in record as the worst PM. The poor and needy, please don't neglect them. A burning silence deep within, quietly suffering, because you are labeled as a greed. You couldn't count your blessings. Sandra told me she's greatly disappointed. That's not what she expected, but she's sticking with she party, even though she grandma lose the 150. Jonah was giving them one, but you offered them two. They took the bait and they voted for you. They say you focus on the rich and middle class, the lower strata, you don't care one ras. Now them outstretched long with fret and regret. They miss the little stipends they used to get. Faith and From sieges, you kill them dead. Over 1,000 families lost their bread. You sent groundsmen home and told them reapply. But you know very well that was Mama Guy. Nobody in Spain source up no more with pest and disease that.
Good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott, and I'm here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 7 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. You're starting a bit late tonight, so don't worry, Anne, you're not in the wrong. Yeah, you're not late tonight, yeah.
In the land, there's one mathematician. I told my partner to bring back the money. Make the treasury look pretty, we want salary. They don't bother with the lady up in High Street. So she come on Facebook and she excrete. People say NDC don't want no heart. How they coulda do them Haitian start? No regards for humanity. Baby Jesus totally lost his sanctity. All you go come here and make things worse. Put more pressure on the nation's purse. So Haiti, I'm sorry. They didn't want you in the yellow country.
Yes, indeed, folks. And let me say a special good night to those of you joining us. Let me start online and I'll come offline after. Right, nice. So, Alan Jones, good night to you. Michelle Alexander, Jackie Raymond, Devin James, Matthew Bowen, Wilfred Antoine, Lishra Abraham, Robert Skashima, Clive Raymond, Wilma Devonish, Kathleen Ledlow, Faithlin Halley Douglas, Alban Harris, Veronica Lewis, Jacinta Livingston Sky, Devin James, Dominic Leroy, Jerome Lewis, Keda Joseph, Faithlin, did I call Faithlin? I think I called Faithlin a little while ago. Right. Nice. Deborah Laborde, Baby Daddy, Ann Andrew, Gemma Warwood, Mayana Julian, Errol Bonaparte, Norma Ray, Gavin Thomas, Good Life, Janice Mitchell, Kathleen Knight, Elsie Peters, Cynthia Parrish, Sherma Jeremiah, good night to you, Zayla, Christine Otley, Jakeem Williams, Eliza Bernard, Anne-Marie Celestine, Grant Shenron, Thomas, Hilary Joseph, Oswald Belfont, Desiree Joseph, Carib Spice, Angie, Cynthia, Samuel, John, Maud Martin, Ron Julia. Good night to all of you over on the YouTube. And those of you joining, remember to like right now. Every one of you on the YouTube, remember to like the YouTube. Nice? Yeah, like the YouTube. And let me see who is over on Facebook. I'm going to start with you, Ruth Thomas. I'm starting with you tonight, right? Yeah, I know. Ruth, good night. Teresa Collymore, Jill Williams, Wendy Maguire, Nursey, yeah, Rachel Alexander, Claude Abraham, Leroy Honorary, Devon Romaine, Micah Ventu, Adorable Levine, cause what's up? Yes, Susan Steele, Bev Jackson, and let me see who else is there. Linda George, good night. Shamin Ragba Singh, Donna Langdon, Winnie Simon, and this computer is giving me a little problem here tonight. Kenrick Gordon, Carla Walcott, Yvonne Courtney, Ansel Andy, Crystal Theodore, Betty James, Cicely Celestine, Laslyn Douglas, Joycelyn Francois, Ann Jackson, Lucy King, Yolan Mitchell Moraine, Tessa McFarlane, Wallen Aquat, Small Axe, yeah man, Denise Debole Sandy, Lucy King, nice, right, yeah, no, you're not late, Lucy. Denise Fabio, Lorna Allen, Delicia Bob, Dwight Ferguson, Dalton Strawn, Peter, what do this thing? How you could skip so? Peter Lewis, Tevin Simon, Susan Steele, Mavis Thorne, I.E. Fletcher, Teresa Gill, Leroy Paul. This thing just jumping on me. Right. So let me see. Yeah, Leroy, right. Teresa Gill. Anybody I missed out in between there, it is not on purpose. It is that the laptop gain a little bit of problem here. You understand? Sometimes thing does make it time. Yeah. So let me see who else is there. Maria Noel, Sandra Pascal, Marilyn Ferguson, Public Notice, Christopher Johnson, Ron Julian, all of you, Natalia, I see all of you jumping on the YouTube right now, folks. Remember to like the live. You have to help spread the message. So like the live. All right. Nice. Yes. Make sure that you like the live.
in power. That may as well be the case. He doesn't change the price of rice and sugar.
Joyce Phillip, good night to you.
We get them bag of lips foodie.
Mr. and Mrs. Crookshank.
We buy the Baptist man for Shango, but they have a great history of returning with landslide victory. But I could see they're making preparation, even though they don't have.
And boy, I listened to Simon Says this evening. Good night to you, Miss Jenny Simon, wherever you are. Yeah, Jenny had a bomb program tonight. I thought that I hear the classroom after, but I know what happened with my partner. Partners message me and tell me what take place. People asking me what happened to the classroom this evening. Yeah, but Miss Jenny Simon, her program was the bomb, and she spoke about, and folks, those of you that have not seen it, when you finish with Talking Points tonight, or even in the morning, whenever you're listening to the program, take the opportunity, go and look for Simon Says and look at the latest episode. Subscribe to the page. I ain't find I see enough of you subscribe there. Subscribe to the page so you could get the notifications whenever the program is on. But I'm telling you, yeah, she spoke about, for instance, the statistics in relation to crime for the years previous to 2022. And it was very clear there that nearly all of the incidents of murder that were happening were being solved. Yeah, you had one or two that was outstanding and thing, and was solved the following year and so on. And so, in fact, watch. I ain't even going into it, Watch her program. Take a look at her program. I'm one of the people who has encouraged you to watch other programs as well. Yeah, so take the opportunity and make sure that you look at today's episode, especially of Simon Says. If you missed the others, yeah, you could go and view it afterward, but make sure you watch today's Simon Says.
But I could see there.
And there's something from Simon Says that when I watch, I was made aware of, because I don't watch the particular individual. All I just encourage people to watch all programs. There are certain programs I, for myself, just would not watch. Yeah, I just would not watch certain people, especially people that full of hate and feel they're better than everybody. And I ain't have time to sit down and expose myself to that kind of thing. I will learn nothing there except what I already know about the individuals. Yeah, so I generally don't go and watch those programs. But you know what? Let me. In fact, and I heard this on Jenny's program, and I nearly couldn't believe it. I said, nah, I had to go and see where this thing. I said, somebody take the person, the individual picture and thing, and they make up something using AI or so. I said, that can't be. Nah, man. I said, that can't be. A man really go and say that pile of nonsense. But let me give you all an example of what I am speaking about. And let me see if I can just start it here and here. Because you know I just had to start it in two locations at the same time. Yeah, so if you didn't know, you know now. So let me see if I can bring it here. And yeah.
Folks, we bring to any situation in life that we ourselves are in, who we are, our standard and quality. And if we have none, we will bring that too. We have had lots of low-class people with access to social media who feel Mount Royal is fit for a prime minister to reside in as it is. You should ask the government to let you stay there because it is vacant now. That place has for years outlived its usefulness. Has any of you who are today talking about the current Prime Minister's decision to not relocate to that Labast, overlooking Darbo, Mount Rush, River Road, Queen's Park, taken an objective look at it to see if you have a dog, that you really love, that you would allow to live there right now as it is?
Now, let me ask a question here. Based on what was said by that individual, Eddie Freddy. Yeah, based by what was just said by Eddie Freddy. I would like to know if something is wrong with the people of Darbo and River Road. If they are not Grenadians, if they don't go and cast a ballot as well when election. Hold off with the phone calls. I ain't ready for all yet. If they don't, in fact, you know what? Let me take the call. You never know. Let me take. Hello, good night. Hello.
Night.
Hi, good night. Just go right ahead, caller. You're live. I wasn't going to take the call, but I said let me take the call. Go ahead.
I'm listening this thing, and I mean, I think I tend to want to agree with you.
Hey, Papa, is a good thing I take the call?
I think I want to intend to agree with you because I cannot believe a fellow, and I will still say a fellow Grenadian citizen would talk about Grenadian people like that. I mean, it's. I heard that thing this evening, and my heart sank. Because I cannot believe that someone that identified themselves as a Grenadian would even think so. And I'm trying to process it. And we say, well, yes, it could be the class system, and it could be this, and it could be that. I cannot find nothing, no words to put into context. What would even think that somebody, especially given the medium that he was using to do that thing, that he would refer to the people of Dabo, Montrush, in such a manner, River Road.
And I'm not even going to waste my time to play the rest of the absolute diatribe nonsense that he spoke in addition to that. But specifically to the people of River Road and Dabo, the statements he has made towards them.
I have a question for you, Sheldon. The current administration, and let me don't beat around the bush, the NDC administration, they did not seek votes in these areas. They didn't go to these people to get votes. So you are telling me the only reason, or one of the main reasons why the Prime Minister cannot stay in the official residence is because it's overlooking these areas?
Yeah, he mustn't be overlooking Dabo and River Road because they are not worthy of the head of state, or head of government, looking and seeing them as the view.
So the south of the island is the only spot in Grenada, right? That's the only spot because you have nicer homes there, maybe, or nicer. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I'll rather take a place to live in any one of those areas than to be with these so-called hypocrites people in any other part of Grenada because it's downright hypocritical.
My brother.
And the other issue for me is that who he was trying to defend did not call him out on that or disassociate themselves with that, because I pray that there's never ever a day when anybody will try to defend a decision I make with such garbage. And I would, once I hear it, would love to disassociate myself. So the bigger problem is the persons or the people that he was trying to look out for, so to speak. And they didn't come out and condemn that. You cannot be a leader and an effective leader and condone such things, speaking about the same Grenadian brothers and sisters.
My friend, I'm seriously concerned if that is being allowed. Then it means, and he's speaking on behalf of somebody, as you said, that they are allowing those statements to be made unchallenged. Because these are the same people saying we want to work along with you and we want to work with this one, we want to work with that one. And you're basically saying that it's a kind of sociopath kind of way of operating. There's a mental aspect to that. It's the way that sociopaths operate. They do like they like you, but they only use you for what they need.
I think more so. Listen, oftentimes we hear things and we tend to say, listen to the message and not the messenger. And while you have to look at the messenger in this case, I am focused on the message. Because to me, the messenger is a weak somebody. He's trying to make himself and that those that he's defending that they are better than people, and that tells me that you don't have the qualities to be a human being. Because even in the initial sentence where he was describing the people that was on social media, who gives you the moral authority to talk about people and to describe people that way? How could you come and tell me that you love Grenadians? So now I understand why they felt the need to take money away from the poor, because they don't see the poor and the vulnerable in our society as part of being society. And they see themselves as aloof. But it just tells me that you as a human being, that you are weak, because in order for you to feel strong, you have to belittle people and to trample people. And that's a problem in this society if that's how they're thinking. So I do hope that our fellow Grenadians listen, open their eyes, and see that the grave mistake that we made on June 23rd by putting these people in government.
My brother, don't feel you just going and say that and run off, and I find you trailing off there like you're going and hang up your phone. You ain't going and hang up your phone there. No, in listening to Simon Says a little earlier, there was a very valuable point that was made there by Miss Jenny Simon, quoting the not just crime statistics, but the statistics in relation to murder over several years and so during the period of the New National Party. And then she made the contrast with what is obtaining now. And then she also made the point of trying to blame the NNP for what is taking place when the people who were working in the positions under the NNP were able to handle and able to manage the situation at hand. What say you in relation to that? And folks, I'm speaking out with Mr. Nimrod Olivier in case Olivier make out the voice, and I didn't even know is he calling, I just answer.
My friend, I was trying to be incognito. I mean, normally I said...
No incognito.
To save my corner and to...
No incognito here.
But I think I had to call this evening because it really, 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 really bothered me in hearing that. And so I must say, yes, I listened to Sister Jenny this evening, and Jenny is somebody that I've grown to have a newfound different respect for, because obviously, when we were on the different political side, we didn't always see eye to eye because the views were different. But
the same here, me and she used to be back and forth. But one thing, I always respect her as a person that held her position.
Right.
And also when you saw what she did with the NDC women's arm back in those days and so, and how formidable she made it. You had to respect the lady?
Yes, and I commend that. And like I said, I've grown some affection to her because I think she's really a lot more objective now, and she's really looking at the thing. And I've heard her call out NNP still because, of course, NNP
everybody
is not perfect.
Everybody getting it.
Hello?
No, I said everybody getting it.
Right. So I think her objectivity that she brings to the table now it's very much needed. I think she's balanced, she's objective, and she gives it as she sees it. So yes, I listened to her this evening, and again, you know how I feel about the RGPF, and have a great love and affection for the RGPF because of my past employment and my past involvement in law enforcement. And I've always maintained that, through statistics, if you really don't manipulate the numbers and you bring statistics as is and you embrace it, because what the statistics does, it gets you to improve your department from a scientific and educational standpoint. And so when you look at the numbers, I mean, I heard her give some stats where she said in 2018 there were 13 homicides, all 13 were solved. 2018 there were 13 homicides, all 13 was solved. 12 was solved in the same year, and one was solved later on, so they do have 100% solve rate. 2019, you had about 16, all 16 was solved, 100%. 2020, you had 17, 15 was solved, and you have 2 that's all unresolved. You had 2021, I believe it was 6, all 6 were solved. 2022, you had 10, all 10. So overall, you had about 62 homicides with a solve rate of about 60, giving you a solve rate of 96.77%, which is very, very remarkable.
It have no other island in the Caribbean had that kind of stats.
You talking about the Caribbean. I work for one of the biggest law enforcement there is in the world, one of the biggest law enforcement agency in the world. And if we had these kind of numbers, I probably would have been maybe 3 or 4 ranks higher than I probably retired at, right? And a lot of guys would have been getting a lot more promotion, because, I'm making light of it, but this is excellent, right? So to show you these numbers and to hear them say, well, The reason why crimes are not being solved now is because the NNP had moved out all the NDC people and put the NNP people in there, and now crimes are not being solved. Well, first of all, there's many holes in that argument. One, look at the solve rate for when the so-called NNP people was there, right? It's almost near 100%. It's almost near perfect. Secondly, you have a whole year. You've been there in there a year and months now. So you had a right, an obligation, or whatever you want to call it, to put your so-called people that you want in the criminal investigation department to be solving your crime. So if you know NNP had moved out NDC people and put NNP people there, and you have a year to fix it, but no, you left it as is, which is nonsense because they know that they did transfer people, right? You did transfer people, and you have a year to fix it, and you didn't. Then the shame is on you, not on the NNP, because which means you look at the numbers that the NNP had, and you realize it was great, and you decided to leave the guy. But they know that's not true, because the head of CID was transferred within a month after election, and they know that. They know the head of CID. They moved him from CID and put him in Grenville, and you have the I got to look for adjective. But you have the one that's not a journalist, that purports to be a journalist and write all this nonsense and talk about who is friends with who, and that's why you cannot move people back. This thing is about getting the job done and putting the right people in the right position. But again, if you don't have the right people at the top, you don't expect to get the results at the bottom, because the bottom looks for leadership from the top. And if those at the top cannot lead themselves, you think they can lead men? Take a look at the top. Look at their record. Look at the allegations and so against them. And so if they cannot even be circumspect for their own personal being, you really think the bottom guys would be looking towards them for leadership?
But
what guidance are they going to offer?
But even further on this one, and I keep saying that one, it's Dr. Mitchell made a recommendation. If you can't handle it, look outside of Grenada for people who can assist you in handling it.
Well, Mr. Scott, let's take the last homicide there is in Grenada, right? Mm-hmm. The same non-journalist that likes to pretend he's a journalist is writing all these stories about he's getting information for a top-ranking police officer. First of all, I don't even know how they have so much leak in the police force, but to me, it seems like it's a strainer they're running there rather than a police force, right? Because there's information that the gentleman is getting that he claims he's getting from the top echelon of the force. So that's a problem right there, right? Because it's like we're litigating and or trying this thing in an online paper rather than having the facts determine where the investigation goes. Mm-hmm. But how did they get the so-called big brick that they was purporting that's a brick that's really not a brick? How did they get it? Wasn't it in the Trinidad Express, based on what information and intel that the Trinidad Express claimed they got from some drug guys and from the police department in Trinidad? So
because
why
the police in Trinidad,
that? So that's not help? So why are they upset with Dr. Mitchell for saying, well, maybe we should go to Scotland Yard or the FBI and get some help? Didn't Trinidad just give them help in that case? And then again, even with that, they made a debacle out of that whole investigation. Because again, they rush. You rush to lock up the guy that was driving the car. Well, my friend, I could tell you, NYPD would have never, ever done that. You get the intel, you identify the car, you sit on the car, you sit on the guy, you have detectives assigned, follow him around, and he will make a mistake. He will make a mistake. Eventually, he would make a phone call to whoever or whomever you work with outside of Grenada, if that's really true. And that's because it's not about him. He's a small fry in all of this. He's the so-called driver of the car. But when you rush to lock him up and charge him with aiding in a crime, what do you think will happen? You think that investigation going to go forward now and you're going to be able to solve that crime just like that? What was the rush to lock him up? You sit on him for a couple of weeks and you watch him. You watch him. I'm involved. I was involved in investigations where you watch people for years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. You watch them, and you watch them because the ultimate goal is to get the bigger guy. So it was you already have him identified. That's fine. But you rush, you lock him up, and then you put it out there. Big break in solving the crime. What's the big break? You lock up the driver of the car. You still don't know who the two shooters were. You don't even have identity for them. And by you publicizing that all over, and now you remand him to Richmond Hill, you really think you're going to get him to cooperate? He's 22 years old. He's not going to cooperate.
And you know, they did say that he's working along with them. Is that something you're really supposed to go out there and say?
Again.
Does that really make sense to go out there?
Well, it shows you that even the top maybe don't understand what the underworld is.
It only put him in danger, it put his family in danger as well.
Listen, common sense make before book sense. Detective would tell you that. Because if it's a 14-year-old feud between warring factions in Trinidad, and 14 years later these men in Berry, right? And so it's transcending borders now. It moved from Trinidad and possibly England and now possibly Grenada and possibly the U.S. and wherever. Right? You really think this kid is going to cooperate? No? And then you go in and put that out there? So then he's as good as dead, living as he's as good as dead, being in jail or out of jail. Because even if he was thinking about cooperating and even if he was thinking about giving in, that's why it's called an investigation. Again, you rush, you get the information on Wednesday as to there was a possible car at the scene the day before. Right?
Mm-hmm.
A possible car that came and may have came and scouted the area the day before. You locked him up on Thursday. He's arraigned a couple of days later. Again, I asked the question, what's the rush? What was the rush to lock him up? He's here. You monitor him. You watch him, you know where he's going, his ID, and you let him relax. You let him feel comfortable. And after a week or two, he'll maybe think he get away with it. And we young. We young, and we love to talk, and we love to brag, and we love to boast. You sit on him. You sit on him, and you watch him for a while, and he will slip up. They have the capabilities here of monitoring phone. That, and I know that. Maybe a lot of Grenadian citizens don't know that. But yes, they could monitor phones, and they do monitor cell phones. I know for a fact.
Yeah, well, you do hear the little background when you make a call, when you make a direct call.
That making the call, there's other things that, I guess sometimes they fail to realize where some of us worked and what we did and things you can do to know if your phones are being monitored and all of that. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is they do have the capacity and the capability here to do it. He would make a phone call. He would. Guaranteed within a week or so he would make a call. And that's what you want because that's where, especially if your investigation take you outside of the borders. But then again, they're all bright and they all feel they don't need help from the outside. So I wish them very luck. There's about 5 or 6 homicides that pretty much, I guess, has no headway, and it's probably going to remain that way. Because in the past, in all fairness, we relied a lot on human intelligence and human information in solving these crimes here, because Grenada is a small society. And so it worked very well. But people get sophisticated, and people change, and people improve. So if the criminals are improving with what they're doing, and we want to use the same tactics, what do you think is going to happen? So if we are not prepared here to use the human intelligence and at the same time embrace the science part of it, use the human intelligence and the scientific technology towards crime solving, what do you think is going to happen? Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen? But they're big and they're bright and they want no information, right? You have people that are so-called advisors, and it pains my heart that you have people that have the title of advisors, and you sit back and you wonder what are they advising. The police force or whoever is advising when it comes to national security should not be doing so from a political standpoint. Politics has nothing to do with national security for a country, because I got news for them. Crimes and criminals do not care about color. Criminals don't care if you're NMP or the NDC. Criminals commit crime for whatever is the reason that they deem necessary that they have to commit, and they really don't care who you support or who you don't support. So when you politicize the force, that only works against the detriment of the nation. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anything. So unless they really start running this force with objectivity and putting the people of this country first, and putting the nation first, and putting the best suitable persons in positions to get the job done, they'll have a lot of unsolved crimes here. They will continue to have a lot of unsolved crimes. I hope it's not so.
I'm hoping that they are sincere in their request of the opposition leader and the opposition to assist in relation to these issues. I'm hoping that they are indeed sincere in that call. I have my concerns. I have my...
How sincere can they be when even every time you read the so-called non-journalist paper, there must be a paragraph in there that says, oh, you have so-and-so is friends with Nimrod Olivier, who was the NNP candidate for the last election. How is that even relevant in today's society?
My friend, a set of people have received letters, from what I'm hearing, at the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and part of the qualifying criteria was that they was friends with Minister so-and-so or with this person within the New National Party, and so because they're saying some have gotten to the age of 60 and they need to move them out, so they're bringing them out, but you have people who haven't reached 60 yet and they get the letters too?
Well, again...
Yeah, people who have a couple of years before they reach the 60, they get a letter too?
So then you answer the question, how it is that you are saying, let's come together and work together to build this nation and to build this country, but yet the victimization continues. Sheldon, I will say it, there's a lot of people that probably don't know the Prime Minister is a very good friend of mine. Very good friend. Very good friend. We are on different political sides. And I would not stop talk to him because he's on a different political side, and I think he would not stop to me because I'm a different political side. And I could tell you tonight, I am Grenadian first.
My friend, people need to understand that even though you are supporting a particular political party, when it comes to these kind of issues, it's not a political issue as much as it's a national issue. So even though the Prime Minister might be a friend, you're seeing something that's happening that's, one, it's endangering your life, your family's life, the nation. And as such, you're offering advice in relation to it.
And that's all it is for me. So it aches me, and it really, really bothers me to the core when you have men that's supposed to be running our nation's force and they're sitting at the top. Because that's why this gentleman could write that in the paper, because he's getting it from them in the top. And they're sitting there and you're hearing other officers, hearing them complain, well, why this one talking to that one, and why he only talking to that one, and he should be talking to me, and he should be doing this, and he should... Really? 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 We are in a society where people are free. I am quite sure there's quite a few households in Grenada here where husband supports one party and wife supports the other party. You're going to get divorced because you have different political views.
Well, I know one family that one husband and wife get divorced. So. But I know of many others that is not the case.
Exactly.
Many others. I know of only one that they have divorced. But
so
many others, nothing like that.
Helping and soliciting help, and you want any advice from the opposition leader when, well, I mean, let's even look at it. The opposition leader has long said he's willing to do and what it takes for Grenada, and he has advised. He had offered advice on numerous times whenever they meet. Whenever Parliament meets, he had offered advice. Some they may take, some they may shrug off. So they know that he's willing to help. He went and addressed the nation, and again, put it out there. right? Then the nation was addressed by the Prime Minister, and it's like, okay, you're asking for the help that the opposition leader already said that he is willing to give. And since then, what has happened? What has happened is that a letter was put out this week that said, hey, such and such is going on. It clearly stated there is rumors, and we need to address the rumors, in the very least. And then you have a minister who jump on a live to say, oh, such and such is putting this out, and they're putting this, and they're trying to... No, people need answers. Is it fair to us that we walk around Grenada in such uncertainty? It's bad enough that you have cabinet meeting and we are told that you have to wait until... we have to wait until you feel something is important for us to know, for you to talk to us. And you have things circulating in the country and going on, and people calling, and people and you can't even address it and say, hey, this is not true and this is not true. And you have active investigations, and people have to get information from a non-journalist paper that's quoting the higher echelon of the force. Then we have a problem.
We definitely do.
We have a serious problem. And so if they don't address it, the deterioration will continue. And it will continue. And when they do try to fix it, it is probably so far gone and so far eroded that people are getting desperate here. People are getting desperate. And if the administration thinks that people wouldn't act as a result of what's going on, they have another thing coming. It shows me that they're really, 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 really naive, and they don't understand people and people's psyche.
Let me ask you a question, though. After the Prime Minister has made that statement a couple weeks ago, since then, has any approach been made to you?
Charlotte, I think I said to you on your program that no.
No, that was then. I want to know if since then anything.
No approach is made. If any, is probably more segregation in terms of why is so and so talking to him, and they should not be talking to him. Again, let's go back to the non-journalist paper. There's about 3 or 4 articles, and in each and every one of them, there's a line in there. I know you don't read it, but each and every one of them, there's a paragraph in there which says, so and so was the NMP candidate for the St. George's Northeast, lost the election in 2022, and they were friends with such and such. So you can't put such and such in that position because they are friends. Are you kidding me? How do they know who's my friend? How do I know who's my friend?
My brother, well, the Prime Minister is your good friend. I was in the same class, several classes with the Prime Minister at then the Grenada National College, TAMCC. So I've known the Prime Minister now roughly going on 28 years or so. Yeah, this year it should be about 28 years I've known him. So, I mean...
I would ask you a question. I wouldn't make a statement, but I'd ask you a question because you're somebody I respect your opinion. If you're getting married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who most likely you would ask to be a witness or to sign your marriage certificate or put a name on your marriage certificate? Are you going to ask somebody that you know very well, somebody you consider a good friend, or somebody that's just some random person?
Nah, you're asking a person who's your real brethren.
All right, so let's move on. Let's get to the next topic. You have another question?
Oh my goodness, I was there, so I know. I was there, so I know. So so this is the present situation. We're heading down to the end of the year. Final question for tonight for you, because I keep you on the phone. I seen the overseas line ringing, WhatsApp, everything ringing all over. No. I know you called to make a statement. I make a statement.
Finish playing the tape, I heard the tape, but you had to finish playing the tape for the rest of the people.
No, I finished playing it. Me and playing more than that. I ain't interested in the rest of what this guy have to say. In fact, I didn't even think of playing it a second time because it disgusted so many people in such a short space of time. I didn't think they want to hear it again.
No, but I even think as he continued, it got worse. I mean, yes, you played like a minute or two in it, but I think the whole thing was about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. And
10 minutes, actually.
He continued speaking.
The entire thing is actually 10 minutes long. The entire thing. So me and I'm with it. But I'll ask this. what advice would you give right now, unsolicited, to the Royal Grenada Police Force as we move into the final 4 months of 2023?
Well, the first thing I would tell them, Sheldon, is that they have to manage the police force. The police force is about management, proper management right now. Policing has changed. I have said in the past that policing has gone away from the brute force policing. Policing now is about tactics and management, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to take the politics. So my first advice really is to be, take the politics out of the policing and run the police department objectively. I know it's kind of hard for them to do because they probably figure they get, which is surprising because each and every one of those top guys, each and every one of the top 5 guys that are there right now, did have prominent positions during NNP time. Mm-hmm. They did get several promotions in NNP time. So I find it hard to see why they figure or why they feel that they have to politicize the force. Each and every one, and they could take me to task, I could back up what I'm saying, it's the truth. Each and every one of them that's up there now, they were in the top management of the RGPF during NNP time. So why it is that you letting politics control your decision now? Run the force objectively, find the best suitable persons that you have. You have a lot of young, brilliant police officers. Mm-hmm. Engage them. Give them the opportunity. Take the force, keep the force on the level that it was at. Because what you are doing now, you are causing attrition in the force. You are causing people to leave. Because people clearly are being victimized because you are bringing politics. But then again, that's probably because of the level of, whatever flaws and weakness they have, that's the only thing they know. But I implore them. I do think that I tend to see the good in people always. So I do believe that, they mean well. Because let me make this point also, Sheldon. Mm-hmm. I am of the strong view, and nobody will convince me otherwise. Right? I think every police officer that signs up to serve our organization, do so. There might be a myriad of reasonings, right? Whether it's a steady job, pay, this, whatever. But the bottom line is the vast majority is to help people. And so I think they are politicizing the force. Yet I am of the belief that there's not a police officer that would not do his job diligently if given the opportunity because of political belief or bias. So in other words, no police officer would not want to solve a homicide or a major crime because he does not support the administration. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I really believe, regardless of your NNP or NDC, and you're given the opportunity to solve a crime, one, it gives you that status, it gives you that feeling of gratification, it gives you that sense of contribution. It gives you that sense of service. You are serving your department, you are serving the nation. So you are fulfilling some needs there. You are fulfilling some wants and some satisfaction right there. So to bring politics into it, all you are doing is alienating some people, and you are getting substandard performance. I made the point on one of your shows earlier on, I believe, because if you promote me just based on I know you and we supporting the same political team, you really think I go in there and work? No, I looking forward to the next promotion because I know I don't have to do nothing because you is my boy. I go get promoted anyway, so why would I really do the work? You see the point I'm making?
Exactly.
So you have a lot of talent in the RGPF. You have to recognize it. You have to embrace it. Take the politics. I go back to it. Take the politics out of running the force.
And they need to stop listening to certain political activists that are telling them to introduce more politics into the force.
Again, if you are advising the Minister of National Security based on political beliefs and political, them say, and political what you're hearing in the street, you have a problem. This thing is about upliftment. Charlotte, I make the point on one of your programs before. Maybe I wanted to and I didn't. Look, we have to recognize how policing is changing around the world, right? To get into NYPD, I think I may be privately. As a recruit, to get into the police academy, you have to have 60 college credits, right? To get promoted to sergeant, you have to have 64 college credits, which is the equivalent of an associate. To get promoted to lieutenant, you have to have 90 college credits. And to get promoted to captain, you have to have a bachelor's degree. And of course, if you go on to master's and doctorate, that enhances you for the ranks above captain. Right? So what that tells you is that it encourages people to have a sense of pride and a sense of wanting to better themselves. Because you come in, you have 60 credits. You know if you want to get promoted to sergeant, you must at least go back to school and take one more class. And then most persons probably won't just go back to school to take one more class, right? So then you're like, I don't I'm a sergeant, now I want to be a lieutenant, you had to do 30 more credits or whatever. You want to be a captain, you had to complete your bachelor's, right? You do have a lot of young officers in the police force here that see that. And they know because they read and they follow and they know what's happening in the big world. But when you have 4 out of your top 5 guys didn't even think it was necessary to go to school to get an associate degree, what do you think is going to happen? Because they see themselves, when the younger guys go and better themselves, they see themselves as being challenged because they know they're deficient and they have their deficiencies in certain ways. But again, you need that as part of your management tool. Sheldon, do you know? And we don't have these things here, but I mean, the only thing I can go on is my past employment. Every recruit that comes through the police academy, so whether or not the class is 1,200, the class size average is normally 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, it depends, right? You know what's the one thing that they get even before you have gun and shield day? Gun and shield day is the day where you get your gun, which is normally, so the academy is 6 months, you normally get that, 4.5 months, 5 months into the academy is when you get your gun. But you know the very first day you go to the police academy, you know what I give you?
The rules?
No, well, yeah, you get the rules, but you know what I hand you? You get an iPhone 14. Is that what we're up to in the iPhone now?
I'm kind of not an iPhone person, that's why I know.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I'm a Samsung guy also. But you get a brand new iPhone and a tablet. Why? You think because NYPD has the money and or they love you and they want to give you an iPhone? I mean, obviously, it's with the programs for NYPD and all of that. But yes, you can make calls on it. You could do whatever. No, they are preparing you and they're letting you know that policing has changed from us writing in big notebooks and writing this and everything is done with the click of your fingers now. So they are preparing you from day one in the academy.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying?
My brother, I'm going to have to wrap it. I'm going to have to wrap this conversation here now, but here's what. I think next week, me and you need to have a program again. No. I think we need to have our program next week.
School opens next week. Rodney is coming back next week. So you know.
No, Rodney go set up this stuff for you, man. I ain't worried about that. So
no
definitely.
Problem, anytime. But I said I was in the middle of cooking some fish, and I hear you said that I turned the pot off.
I hope you don't burn the thing.
For what I thought was going to be a minute, and you see now. So I still have my fish off cook on the stove now. I gotta go finish cooking it.
I know your business, brother. Thank you so very much for your call.
Anytime.
Yes, folks, I was speaking to Mr. Nimrod Olivier. No, I can't just let him call and get away. Yeah, I can't just let him call and get away like that. We have a call on the line. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
How are you?
I'm quite fine, actually.
All right. Good night, Comrade Nimrod. First thing first, let me do a disclaimer. The views expressed on this program does not been endorsed by the presenter of the program. There is no obscene language in it. First off, the advisor to the Prime Minister, who was a former commissioner of police, was the worst commissioner of police that they had. That's the biggest idiot out. I can tell you I was there. Secondly, if they want to solve crime in Grenada, 2 persons they should have called back was Earl Dunbar and Trevor Modest. Thirdly, Eddie Loser Frederick didn't like your own mother. Again, I can say this.
Oh God, let me don't go that. Let me don't go that direction. Let's deal with what he says.
No. Sheldon, hold on.
No. Let's
I
don't want us to go that
I-
direction because see when we go that direction with them, they go feel like it go that direction with us. Let me deal with
All
what
right.
he said and let's not go that direction. I ain't going. I wouldn't encourage that. Let's not go there. Yeah.
All right. He has a very low mentality. No matter he has a radio program, and he is one of the individuals who think that he is better than everybody. And to make a statement about the people in Dabo and Cemetery Hill that the Prime Minister looking down on them. What about the former Prime Ministers who resided in the Prime Minister's residence? Were the people in that area no good for him to look down on? All right. It's you see, if we really go, and as you see, you rightly said, let's not stoop to his game. When they go low, we have to go high.
Yes, indeed.
The statistics today that was placed out by Simon Says, and let me thank you for putting me on to Simon Says and Mosquito Man. It was.
And we have the classroom as well, eh? We also have one the classroom. Yes, indeed, caller.
Sheldon, there is a lot I can say, but listen, as the time goes by, I will keep sending you certain clips. Let me leave the line open for other people. Hey, good night, Cami. I miss you for a couple of days. Good night, Cami.
Yeah,
you know
I think probably she was
married to the Jamaicans.
probably she was trying to call. Let me see if she's gonna call in because I didn't get her last night. I missed a call
Yeah,
from
I
her, so
know.
let me see if she gets it tonight. All right,
So,
thank you
brother,
so very
listen,
much.
You enjoy the weekend coming up, and we'll see you on Monday.
All right,
And I'll
thank
be here
you.
until the closing.
All right, folks. Let me just remind you all there is going to be a parliament sitting tomorrow. Yeah, from 9 o'clock in the morning there'll be a parliament sitting tomorrow. I think it's important once you have the opportunity and you can do so to listen what is being said in Parliament tomorrow. In specific, in relation to the supplementary budgetary allocation that's being presented. In other words, government is saying we need these additional monies so that we can run government till the end of the year. So I think it's very important that you listen to the Parliament sitting that will be taking place tomorrow. We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hi, good night. Go right
How
ahead.
everything?
I'm quite fine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Brother Sheldon, you have some people that can speak proper grammar. Brother Sheldon, the proper grammar that, and the word that coming from the mouth is garbage. It's garbage. Brother Sheldon, because when I was listening to what you're playing from Edlin Federica, I want you to cut off my phone. Because when you have men who consider themselves in high moral standing, speaking this garbage coming from the mouth, I wonder how are they thinking? How are they thinking? If they came out from a different place to other people in Grenada, we came out from the same, we passed through the same place, and nobody better than one another, right? So, I always say to people, people speak grammar, but the proper grammar and the things that come from the mouth is worse than someone who can speak proper grammar. Right? But you speak about the people of Dabo River Road, and Montrush. The people of Dabo River Road and Montrush, they have more sense than Edlin Federica. And they think properly. They have respect for the children and for the... But he has no respect for seniors, the young people, and he don't even have the respect for his own self. But when you hear what the man says, Brother Sheldon, is to make like a man who say like if he better go and drink to rum and don't know what goes on in the world. What he's saying is just stupid, is just noticeless, that he's saying. Because we could have Dabo River Road and Montrose. The people of Montrose, they qualify and they fully knowledgeable of what is going on in the country. And there are people that went who has the degree, things qualified to achieve any work in Greater Caribbean Mathematics, and even travel, they could get a work. But when he have a man trying to pull along the people of Darbo River and Montrose, Brother Sheldon, this is to show the character of he and some of the people in NDC. Because they consider themselves as them alone as high and mighty, and others is nobody. But I always say, Brother Sheldon, man could try, but once God loves you and God elevates you, that's what he wants. The ladies say what they want, but there's no bend down head for that. Because you know who you are and what you want to achieve in life, keep your head high. Brother Sheldon.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. And let me see, someone else is calling. Let me see which one, which line to take. Which line to take? Let me try this one. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night. You're a live caller. Go right ahead.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
Yes,
Oh, your phone is giving a little problem there.
Pardon?
Your phone is giving a little problem. Try speaking now. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just trying to find out what's going on in the health system in Grenada. Because my brother went to the hospital on Monday morning, around 10 o'clock in the morning. He was there all day. He left like after 8 in the night and didn't get to see a doctor. He went back Tuesday morning. Same thing. He left after 8 in the night again. Didn't get to see a doctor. One doctor in the emergency room, and he has to deal with emergencies. He has to deal with everybody. So Wednesday he went to the medical station. There was no doctor there. He went to another medical station. There was no doctor there again. And that's in the parish of St. David, the Prime Minister's constituency. So I'm really concerned about the health system in Grenada.
I'll tell you this, caller. I came in studio. My the in studio WhatsApp. Hello. Oh, it seems as though we lost that caller. Yeah, their phone seems to be giving a problem. I because of the issue, I was trying to give them the opportunity to speak, but their phone seems as though it has a problem. Yeah, and I've been seeing some messages here, in relation to health, and in fact, one involving someone that has died. I think they went septic or whatever, and they've died, and one or two other messages here. And believe me, I think that these issues, I don't even want to start diving into them tonight. I think they probably need their own separate program. I've been seeing some messages from some of you that have been saying, don't bother with Eddie and so on. And I'll get into that in a little while. Let's take this call. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, good night.
She gets through, boy. Yes. Yami.
And good night to my friend, that young man that in New York they that calling earlier on. Good night.
I know his voice, you know. I know his voice.
Loving wife. You know, Sheldon, I've been trying calling most of the time, not last night, and I was not getting through. Other people calling before me, so I just get fed up and I put on my damn phone and I go to bed.
Yeah, I realize I missed one from you, yeah.
I'll just say good night to all the Grenadians, home and abroad, all Miss Teresa that living in Canada, she's a Grenadian, from Vincent, from your friend that came by me today, and all the rest, Sheila, Darlington, Pinky, that's a Carnage man, all these people that come on vacation. I want to say good night to you all because they listen to the program when they're in America and Canada and they're here.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say good night to everybody. And I want to thank Miss Teresa for helping. She always send the money. Sheldon, there's a lady that always sends something to put in the brown envelope for the children. Mm-hmm. I want to thank her very much. Also, Darlington and Sheila Chase. And a lady brought us $50 again this afternoon. I want to thank them very much. I appreciate that. When I bring it, I give it to Mr. Scott to do what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing, the man talking about Eddie Cedric, don't bother with him. The people in Davao and Mount Rush and Cemetery Hill live a better life than him. And I have to put my mouth in back it up. Because let me tell you where he grew up. Let me tell Grenadians to refresh their memory. You see that big house on Market Hill? The Fletcher's house? The Fletcher's house. Mr. Watt had the doing the dental upstairs.
Oh, the one very at the one right at the top, like if you're heading over to the school.
Downstairs there they used to live.
Oh, okay. Nowhere, yeah.
There they used to live. And then they moved to Granby Street where they call it Four Road. In the back of Mr. Jones' shop in a little old house there. He and crazy brother, Alana, and the other sister. So he cannot come down and Grenadians. People and cemetery. The cemetery people, they had a nice house with a washroom, toilet and bath. Eh? So he cannot come down on the Grenadian people. Eddie Cedric, my name is Camille Teresa Scott. Hey, say thank God for Miss Pamela Steele. Boy, you forgetting where you come from, boy. You have to stop that. You forget where you come from? Boy, you don't market it, boy, you still live in a little room in this Fletcher house. Yeah. Stop that. The people in Davao, they have nice houses now. You have to stop that. You forget. The Grenadian people coming on, and these are the people that support you and give you the opportunity where you is today. I know that. I know that. Rana Chase, that is my grandmother. And I know that. So I tell you to can't go there. You have to stop that. Remember where you come from. Remember where you come from. You hear me? And the caller is right. The poor lady, they let you rest in peace. But in Poor Road, in the back of Mr. Jones' shop, you had a old house in the back there. I could tell you how you get your start in Grenada, boy. I could tell you where you get your start. And the caller is right. Hey, you have to stop that, boy. His sister's name is different. I don't know how he gets fed up. He gets fed up, Sheldon. And that's what a lot of other Grenadians do. Always stop this thing to looking down on people. Stop looking down on people.
Indeed.
Anyhow, I ain't gonna go there because I'll say certain things.
You know.
I want to
You
do
know.
a lawsuit. Because I know.
You know I go say stop at if I find you
stop.
going out of the border.
The street, they call it a Poor Road. That is where we grow up. Young people grow up. All people from Archibald Avenue. They used to come and sit down there. Kwasi. I could call them Peter David. They used to come in Granby Street. That was a college. Boy, stop that, boy. Boy, you used to walk without no slippers in town, boy. You have people living here to testify. You have to stop that and don't come down on people. Stop it. I'm telling you. Anyhow, have a good night, everybody.
Right,
have a good night. And you have people could call and testify. The brother and we was friends. All of us just smoke with little weed in 4 days. Boy, stop that, Eddie. Boy, you still running all around town with no slippers. You see Miss Pamela Steele? She's a saint. She helped a lot of us in this town. Have a good night. I want to get back to show her all right.
Okay. I will hold off on the phone calls for a little while. I will hold off on the phone. I just want to say this. Sometimes we have to understand when we are being baited. Yeah? And you might say I'm saying this and then I did something else earlier. I know why I did what I did. Sometimes we have to understand not to be baited, but understand what is taking place. When I say that, this individual, Eddie Freddy, has been doing these things because he wants people like myself. He wants people like Mosquito Man and Jenny and all of the people that are out there doing programs. You want people called Shaggy. You want everybody focused on him. Now, if your focus is on him and the things that he's saying and the nastiness that he's been getting on with for ever since on his program, saying all sorts of nasty things about people, if he's the focus, then you're not focusing on Andy Williams and the stupidness he's saying and doing. You're not focusing on Ron Redhead and the people that they fire in the Ministry of Youth in the last couple days, where they've been giving people a letter to go home in the Ministry of Youth. Because you know why? Because we focus on Eddie. So we know that these people go on home and that come and they die. Yeah? We would be focused on Eddie, so we would not be focused on the fact that government trying to get $7,500,000 tomorrow. They want to go and get approval for that. For independence celebrations, when one, they have not launched a theme, a logo, anything for the 50th anniversary of independence next year. They haven't launched that yet. They don't have a schedule of activities that they have put together to say that they're having for the rest of 2023. But they're asking for $7.5 million. Yeah? For September, October, November, and December to spend for independence celebrations when they don't even have a list of independence celebrations to present to say. And that's just for until the 31st of December. Eh? Come January, they're looking for another set of money for independence for the whole year 2024. So when we focused on Eddie, we not focused on this. And the reason that I played it is because I want us to understand how individuals within that political organizations view many of us here. I'm poor people children. Me ain't come from no rich people. I'm poor people children. And that's the reason probably they don't like many of us. They would not like Dr. Mitchell because who is he? Grandmother used to sell fish. You understand? His mother, his father, all of them work hard. So they would not like him. Like poor people children. Because some of them, and that's kind of the reason I let Cami say what she said. Because we have to understand, some of them who play and they come out from rich people is poor people children too. They're poor people children too. But they just believe that they're better than you because they have a particular skin shade. They believe they're better than you because you're darker skin. Because you live in Dabo or you live in River Road, they believe they're better than you. And you see how they said that even the dog, they would not even let their dog, not the child, not their friend, not their brother or their sister, they wouldn't let their dog look at the people in River Road and Dabo. That is how low they see the people in River Road and Dabo, that they would not let their dog see those people. That is how they consider River Road and Dabo people. And you have not seen the political organization that he's championing this cause on behalf of. You have not seen the political leader. Because I could tell you something. I know Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. I've known Dr. Mitchell since the 1990s. I know Dr. Mitchell. If I say something like that, there is no way I would not be immediately reprimanded. I might even be told, watch, don't even call an NP name, you on your own, say your thing. But don't call an NP name and that is not us. Make sure you don't associate the New National Party with that sort of thing. I know Dr. Mitchell. But these people are allowed to say, but if they could condone the other wajang that they have out there on radio saying all kind of nastiness about people and they condone him and they go and they sit down and they do interview with them and all sorts of things, so they're condoning them, then they could condone anything. Yeah? So let's not focus on the individual too much. So we don't want to go and say, well, we're going to focus on them whole time. Yes, they said it, but we have to understand the idea behind it. We have to understand the thinking and the attitude and the belief system that is behind that they think they're better than you. When the time comes for your vote, they come in and smile and grin, you know. They come in and play nice. They want to come on the block and sit down with fellas. They want to come in the rum shop and buy a eighth and buy a quarter and buy a half and put it there. And they want to all talk with you. But other than that, they believe that they're better than you. That they shouldn't interact with you. Because they carry a particular name or a particular skin shade, or they come from a certain area, they're living in a certain area now, they even come from there, but they're living in a certain area now. They just believe that they're better than you. And that's the crux of the matter. Alright, so I just thought I should say that to clarify. I think we have a call on the line. Hello, good night.
Good night, Shannon Scott.
Hey, good night, sir.
But I surprised of some people, but
Go right ahead, let me hear you.
Shannon Scott, what's going on? I passed through St. Paul's area and I saw a set of material bank up your people's house, and who really need it, then give it them, and who matters to your house and rat it down.
But let me ask these questions, because you know I like to be clear on things.
Yeah.
Is it the first time that you're seeing the material there, or how long has that material been there that you're seeing under people's house?
I get to understand.
I ain't trying to, you know, definitely I ain't trying to defend the NDC, so I'm just asking questions for clarity. Yeah? How long has it been there?
Coming forward, the matter they build the house pack up like nobody business.
Did they receive it under the NNP or the NDC?
Right now, I feel under NDC right now.
Mm-hmm. But now under the New National Party, when we had that issue, what was happening was sometimes, hold on, the people had the material, but they didn't have anybody to help them build, which is why we had the building brigades. The first thing the NDC did was send home all those people in the building brigades. So when they give people material now and they don't have people to help them build, this is what is going to happen. It's going to sit down there.
Scott, who really need it, they can't get it.
But it's not just that. No, but we're saying it's not just that, brother. Understand it from this context. Some of the people who get it could be people that really need it, you know. Don't watch them like that. What we found when the New National Party was in office, people were talking about people get material and it sit down there. That is why, for instance, in St. David, you had the building brigades that would go out now. You have the material, they would go out and help you, whether it's to put on a bathroom or toilet or an additional room or to help build a structure, so they would help. When the NDC came in, they fired those people, so you will end up with situation because people now, they're getting the material, but they don't have the help to put it up. Okay, let's say the person that get the material is a young mother. She has about 3 children, but she doesn't have a male to help her do it, or she doesn't have that relationship with the family to come and help her and so on. Who is going to help her? The material going to sit down there?
Yeah, true.
You understand? So understand it from that context. Don't just be upset to the people because you see the material there and people that need not getting it. But understand that they broke the system that was in place that was ensuring that don't happen. So you will see that happening.
Sure, one more thing. Sure, I want you to pass through Windsor Forest and Vincent's Road. You go see the country, road Windsor Forest. A lot of bus drivers are right now complaining. They been made their trucks, no drop thing. Everything they say more like even by today, I put on today. About a week after they're going to change again. The control the road very bad in Windsor Forest area. So
all right, my brother.
The beg it, a man tell me today, why tomorrow morning pay your cars on the roof from a piece. I said, oh, Trevor best.
I'm going to try to pass through there. I'm not driving these days, but I'll attempt to get through there and see what you're speaking about.
Yeah.
All right, my brother.
I am asking you, ain't nobody going to do a panda feature in the early.
Well, we've seen that sort of thing before. So, all right, my brother. Thank you so very much. All right. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. And you see, I'm saying it as it is. Look, somebody telling me that a certain individual used to leave their home and go and hang out by somebody else for when they're leaving. Yeah, Eddie Freddy, is that you? They used to go by certain people, and then when them walking out, you're walking out like if you... So you have to understand, these people don't like you. They don't like you. Yeah? They don't like you. They don't want to live around you. And if they're sending out these people as their champions, these people to represent them and speak on behalf of them, understand they don't like you. We have a call online. Good night.
Yeah, hello, Sheldon. Good evening. How
Hey,
are you, brother?
I'm quite fine. How are you doing?
Thanks be to God. Good, man.
All right. Wonderful.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier about Dr. Keith Mitchell and the caliber of person he is, the type of person in terms of humanity and so on. And he wouldn't condone certain things. And I just want to concur with what you're saying because I remember there, as you said, you know, back in the 90s, myself, I remember I was just getting, politically aware and all of that. And I remember they had a political meeting at River Sally, and I don't know how I got up there, but Mr. George Brizan was the Prime Minister at the time. Which was there, you know, usually in community meetings, they'll have some villager come to say a few words. And I remember this man going up, taking the mic and saying, "We don't want no blind man read us, we don't want no..." And he started the great Mr. George Brizan. I think at that time he was beginning to have problems with his sight. And Sheldon, I was amazed and impressed, and I tell my admiration for that man started and grew from then. Dr. Mitchell, when he came to speak, I think that man may have been introducing him. Dr. Mitchell, before he got into the substantive part of what he had to say, immediately disassociated himself, condemned the statement, and asked that such this thing never happen again on the platform. I remember him saying, I was young then, I remember him saying, that somebody's illness should never be taken and made fun of. And I had family members who were blind, so I could have understand where he was coming from because it's really an affliction on you when you lose your sight. But Sheldon, I tell you this, of all the things I knew of Dr. Mitchell, that first impression of him, I don't feel my first meeting going out, but I don't know how I got to River Sally, but I was. And when I heard that man said that, I saw.
I could tell you, huh?
Yeah, bro.
Let me give you an example. When the New National Party was in opposition, before, you know, we did radio programs, and so I was doing a radio program at the time, myself, Ian Edwards, you had Alan Campbell, different people, we were doing radio programs. And I could tell you something, if I was on air and I said something that could have been considered disrespectful of the Prime Minister of Grenada, I would see my mobile start to ring.
Wow.
And I don't even have to watch to know it's Dr. Mitchell calling me, and I had to take a break. And he would say, no. Well, after the first time, he didn't have to do it a second time, you know.
Yes.
After the first time, he didn't have to do it a second time. You would know the parameters in which you can speak and the boundaries which you keep because you're speaking of the head of government. So you know there are certain parameters that you keep because the individual is one thing, but the office. I remember being told those exact words. The individual is one thing, but the office that they hold. You should have respect for that office.
You know, and I sense that the crowd there then was delighted at that, you know, and would have feel earlier he's been attacked. Dr. Mitchell totally... I was in somebody's veranda, that's why I got a space, and I heard that man immediately condemn it, disassociate, and reprimanded the person who came on stage and did that, and asked that this never happened on the platform. I remember this as if it happened today, and I really admire him for that, and my admiration has grown ever since, and his consistency in that regard has not faltered. So that's my contribution, brother.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, okay.
I can tell you several times over the years, I might be doing a program, and I say something, and I know as soon as the program done, I'm getting a call. Over the years, 2 people, 3, that have always been consistent in ensuring that, hey, check yourself. Where you say no, you're wrong. Check that. Don't do that. No, know your parameters and so. The late Leslie Pierre. If I wrote back in the days when I was doing stuff in the media and I wrote something and I sent it to Leslie Pierre, I would see that phone number. It's 1498, I think it was 1498, 1493, 440 would call. And the moment I saw that, I know something in that article, either my syntax incorrect or something is wrong in that article. He would call and correct you as a young person to say, no, you need to change this. What you've said there isn't clear. Whatever it is, you would get that. Yeah? And while on radio, I knew I would get that call from Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell in relation to something. Yes, sometimes while on air, you get. You understand? So understand, while that is Dr. Mitchell, that's a leader. You have presently a person who is not a leader, because everybody allowed to just do anything while haywire. Man in Canada calling and say all kind of thing. They're finding time to call and say stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, the minister who's sitting here in Grenada, well, I see he talk. Let me hear what he had to say on something there. Let me see if I could find that, boy. I think he was talking on something or the other. Where is this? I'm trying to get some audio here in relation to a statement that was made by the minister in relation to the book program.
Present this assistance in the form of machine-readable codes, better known as QR codes. And our vendors have been trained, and so there'll be additional information coming to.
Yeah, you're talking about that now, but we want to hear exactly when it's coming out, because we know school is week after, so we want to know. So we're going to check back with that one. I ain't got a chance to listen it properly yet. It's been sent to me, but I didn't get a chance to sing it. We want to hear about the LBGTQ. That's what we want to hear, Mr. Minister. You find time to come and talk about one of the issues we call you out on, the voucher program, but you could have taken a few minutes while you was in front of the camera and talk in relation to that issue too. But what you're afraid of, you can't come out and tell us it's not true. Yeah, you see, I was correct. 1498, that's the number. Yeah, I could never forget Mr. Pierre number. 440-1498, definitely. You know, another person that would speak to me on time to time on particular issues, especially if I get it wrong. Yeah, Mr. Gregory Bowen would make sure. Yeah, Shalan, I hear you were talking about that. No, it's not that direction. This is how that is so. That sort of thing. Oliver Joseph would speak to me, say, look, you was dealing with that issue, but this is to clarify it for you, or to give you a firmer handle on the thing. That's how the New National Party operates. But in other political parties, anything goes. So men who was helping out people that was disrespecting people will feel to come and tell you how to do your program and that kind of thing. We have a caller online.
Sheldon Scott, good night.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You know, you said something there earlier on, and you said don't focus on Eddie Frederick. You understand?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't really want to focus on him, but I have to say something.
No.
And hear me out.
You have to tell people certain things, but you don't focus.
When you're saying about Bravo people, and you know these people have houses, you know, Sheldon. And this guy don't have a house. Already you when they throwing him out.
Camille, let me don't go down that road. No, Camille, you go put me in trouble. Let me don't go down that road. Oh, you must listen. Don't go down.
Bad about.
Don't go down that road.
Houses, Sheldon, and these are poor people that drug gravel to build a house. You hear?
Yeah.
So when you want to disrespect people in River Road and in Dabo, you have to have respect for them. Because rent you're renting, and thank God for the codes. The codes. Let the people know that. The people he want to bring down.
All right. But Kiami, again, I can't do a whole program. I can't do. Kiami, you heard all.
Disrespectful.
No, Kiami.
They're too disrespectful.
Kiami. Kiami.
I apologize for you.
No, Kiami. I cannot do a whole program focus on him. That is what they want. So let's understand that. Kiami, I got to. Kiami, no, you see, you got to vex with me. I can't do a whole program focus on he. I can't do it. I said what I said, and you still call back and take the whole time talking about. That is what they want us to do. They want us to focus on him. While they get away with all, and I'm trying to tell you that, and you're just not listening me. Not listening me. I mean, it's not fair to me. It is not, no, honestly, it is not fair to me. Really and truly, that's not fair to me. Yeah, because I took the time to explain exactly what their strategy is. That yes, we must say certain things so people must know who the individual is. We did that already. We can't come back and take another 5 minutes. Look, we only have less than half hour left. We can't take another 5-10 minutes to go and talk about them again. We can't do that, please. Yeah, and it threw me off from what I was going to talk about now. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good night. Hello? Hello? Okay, we lost that caller. Yeah. Please, no more calls in relation to that individual. We have a call online. Hello? 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 Okay, I'm not sure. Caller, when you call, you need to pay attention to the phone. I'm hearing some stuff in the background. Focus on the phone line. All right, focus on the phone line. All right, don't focus on the thing. And it just threw me off totally from what I was going to talk on next. Oh boy, yeah, it just threw me off totally. If I took all the time to explain why not, and you just come to do the same thing, it's We have a call online. Good night.
Hi.
Hey, Eli, Rastafari.
What's up?
I'm good, man.
Listen, I listen to Eddie. Is he that he's suffering from Alzheimer's, or he gets something hot in his backside and he vexes everybody? Because this is the same man I've been to tourism workshop, speaking to us, giving us information how we could approach tourists, how we could make the tourism, the tourism association a better place and make people more happy, and how we should approach them and how we should conduct ourselves and stuff like that. The man got help from people. He got help from the political entities. He got help from the Grenadian people to be in certain areas where he can get recognition and stuff like that. So what he don't understand is the same people you pass on your way up, you're going to meet them on your way down. So I can't see why a man with education should degrade himself like that. He must have respect for the education that he has, because I think he have a little education. I mean, he might be the most educated person, but he have some education.
Again, caller, I don't want us go focusing on him too much. We've said what we had to say in relation to him, but folks need to understand the concept behind it. One, NDC isn't doing things willy-nilly on everything. Understand that. There's a strategy behind a lot of what they are doing. Part of the strategy is to have these people that we are going to focus on. So every now and again they'll come out and say something out of the way and nasty, because from what I'm hearing is that they've been saying certain things to try to get people like me to spend all my time responding to them. But if I do that, then there are so many other issues we could be discussing here that will be thrown to the sideline. By the time we finish now, we realize that, look, you spend a whole program talking about that individual, but look, you have this issue to deal with. You have Parliament happening tomorrow. Did you even congratulate Karani? Yes, he was disqualified in the race, but Karani has made 9 finals at the World Championships and Olympic Games and so on. He has gotten gold, silver, and bronze in both the World Championship and the Olympic Games, and so that we don't even take the time to say congratulations to him, but we're focusing on a political non-entity in our country that is just a face of the political party that don't like nobody. They don't like people. And that is what we need to focus on, rather than the individual himself. Because they want us to focus on the individual.
Listen, sir, the man just gave us a good idea on who the NDC is.
Of course he did.
He just telling us.
That's
now,
the point.
He just making us to understand now who is NDC. because the NDCI is behind him doing that.
But let me tell you something. You know, when I totally understood, and I think people in St. David's as well need to understand that. What does it say to you if when candidate, the present Prime Minister, pass and throw candies for the children but he throw it on the ground? Like he pass in a vehicle and he fling it out. And he throw it on the ground. What does that say? He didn't stop and the children come and you put it in their hand. You pass, you see a bunch of children and you just fling it out.
You say he throw it on the ground?
That's what I'm telling you. If you just pass it, what does that tell you about the individual and how they think about the children?
They don't have no value on children.
Yeah, but you ain't stop and pull it out and the children come and you hand them, you know. You pass and you just fling it out.
Doggy trade for it.
But that's what I tell you. And when you hear people using terminology like dogs and saying that how they wouldn't even let their dog, it tells you about the people in Dabo and River Road, how these individuals see them.
But Sheldon, the man isn't right. The man isn't right because Dr. Keith Mitchell is still in that place. Tillman Thomas still in that place. Other prime ministers still in that place, so he putting them in a dark category too. The man isn't right. Something wrong with him. As I said, maybe he's suffering from Alzheimer's.
The mindset
but something wrong with him.
The mindset behind it. That's what we have to look at.
Anyway, we know what is behind it. Eh? We know. Yeah. I just making the point, but we know what is behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good night, man.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Mm.
All right. 440-7377. We have roughly 22 minutes remaining. Yeah, 22 minutes remaining on tonight's program. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. All right. Yeah. Let me see if I could find my thing here again. Nice. Right. And you know, this morning I was listening to Shaggy's program, and I heard the plea of a guy. I know the guy. I know Terry. In relation to a situation with his mom, and in fact, here's part of it. Yes, I should have it somewhere here. Here's part of it.
Yeah. Now I am having an issue. I am calling on the medical director and the Ministry of Health. I need some answers. Now, my mom had an asthma attack a couple of weeks ago, and she went into Maribor for some treatment. On arriving, they said they want to do some blood work. So I went and paid for the blood work. When the results came back, they said that she had a mild heart attack. They started giving her some injection. Now she was released, and the area in which they gave her the injection, that whole hand is swollen and is getting black. Each and every spot where they gave her the injection is getting black, it's getting hard, and she's in tremendous pain. I reached out for answers. None is forthcoming. I reached out to the Minister of Health for some answers. And I must say that I am very disappointed in his answers. However, he said to me that they said she came in with a swollen arm, which is not true. And they gave her the injection under the skin. Now, if you're giving somebody, based on talking to nurses and talking to a private practitioner, if you're giving somebody medication for blood thinners, you don't give them under the skin based on the strength of the medication. You find a vein and you give them that injection. Now she has broken blood vessel in her right hand. That is what is causing the whole hand to get black. And she's in tremendous pain. And all I'm getting is a runaround. I need some answers from the Ministry of Health before I take this thing further. This is my mother. I am not going to leave it like that. And this is not, and before I know what we're going to say, this is not about green and yellow. this has nothing to do with green and yellow. This has to do with the Ministry of Health and the people that we employ to take care of our citizens. No disrespect, some of them are just there for a monthly salary. Because an injection as severe as that, you know, you're supposed to read up. As a nurse, you're supposed to know the after effects. You're supposed to know what is going to happen. You can't just shove it under her skin. And then I now have to go and buy more medication now because the doctor said it's blood clot, and if it gets into her vein and it could go into her brain and cause aneurysm, cause another stroke. You understand? We need to do better than that, and everybody just playing games. It's time for we to straighten up the system. Our health system is the worst. And like I said, this is not about green and yellow. I am a member of the National Democratic Congress. You understand? I am the deputy chairman for the town of St. George. So this is not me fighting non-government. This is me saying we need to get this thing straight. I need answers. And I'm going to go wherever I could to find answers because this is my mother. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, so that was that caller on Plead Your Cause this morning. I'm showing you some of what he was speaking about. You'll see it up on the screen there. That is what has happened to his mother. And again, trying to get answers. He's the deputy chairman for the NDC in the town of St. George. And he's trying to get a response from the Minister of Health and so in relation to this issue involving his mother. And he can't get it. So if he can't get it, I could imagine for other people. I could imagine for many other people that are going through similar situations. As I said, I came in and I saw several messages inside here. Again, in relation to health, including one where someone has died. Yeah? Including one where someone has died. I think we might have to do just a special program. With some of the messages that I'm seeing there, that's a whole program in itself. Yeah? With what has been going on within the Ministry of Health. Again, you start back hearing the situation of people and they can't get medication and you can't get this and you can't get that. All of these things, you're starting to hear that again. Yeah? And it's a serious concern. Serious concern. 4407377. And of course, 347-329-3101.
Yes, they use and abuse women. They raise no children. They live a life of wicked thoughts, corruption, embarrassment, and shame. So in order to maintain power against the very forces of nature, they need to have the citizens living in fear. Just like him, but be not afraid, for will come suddenly.
Yes, indeed, and we have a call online. Good night. Oh boy. Hi, good night.
Good night, sir. I don't know how you do.
Yeah, I'm quite fine.
Okay. I just happened to hear the gentleman who just called in, and I probably will have more to say about what's going on in health subsequently.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that struck, I probably may have missed a bit of his story, but if indeed, and in fact, did his relative, the blood test that was it done recently?
I can't say for sure. I can't remember if he did give a timeline.
If you do a blood, 9 chances out of 10, if you do a blood test on someone, and you make a diagnosis of a mild heart attack on the basis of that blood test, it is something called cardiac enzyme. And if your cardiac enzymes are elevated, that person needs to be on rest and they need to be given specific things of medication and followed very closely. So what I call to advise the gentleman to do, in addition to his, obviously his concern about the, I presume it's a hematoma that's developed on her forearm that I saw in the picture. He needs to take his mother to a competent physician, or better, a general practitioner, or better still, an internist. An internist, someone who's our cardiologist, internist, who's dealing specifically with those cardiac problems, and to make sure that she is indeed stabilized. Perhaps he has done that, and if that's the case, it is already. Indeed, in fact, Sheldon, I am every day I become more and more concerned. And again, like the gentleman, I'm not speaking all yellow now. I'm speaking about people's health and well-being. And I actually was about to do some further research and come back.
I've received information that the test was done recently.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm suggesting to the gentleman to make sure that he has his mother in the hands of a competent general practitioner, or better still, an internist. And there are a few internists around, right? Someone who internal medical problems. Mm-hmm. Okay?
All right.
Yeah, because a lot of the issues, I don't say anything more. I mean, it's just
we'll do a special one on health soon.
yeah.
All right, okay. Doc. Thank you so very much. And you know, the one I want to do on health, I think I want more than one guest on. Yeah, I think I want Dr. Braffett, I want Dr. Modest, I want a few people on. We lost that call. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. All right, folks, please also note that the Meteorological Services, they've issued a warning of a heat wave. Grenada is currently experiencing a heat wave. Models are indicating potential light winds, high temperatures, and low rainfall over the next 24 to 48 hours. The high for tomorrow is expected to be around 32 degrees Celsius. A heat wave is 2 or more consecutive days with temperatures 31.7 degrees Celsius or greater. Here's what you should do. Dress appropriately, stay hydrated, cut back on alcohol, avoid closed spaces, and look after the old and the young. We have a call online. Good night. Oh boy, hello.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Yes, I'm living in South Sea. And he talk about the prime minister can't stay up there. But if your dog, you can't let go there. But the policemen and them to stay up where the prime minister cannot live. And up there, they have a lot of bush. Because when you have bush, the prisoners just come and cut it.
Okay, so
it's... Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So at least the bush part, I think, is not even true, because they just have the prisoners coming and cut the bush, according to that caller. All right, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside from 9 o'clock tomorrow. There will be the parliament sitting, and you all need to pay attention, especially when the discussion comes around that particular bill where government is asking. Now, these are monies that they did not budget for. In other words, they did not place this in the budget that they delivered in December. They're coming now and ask for additional monies. And this will be going to Parliament tomorrow. There are some that some concerns about. Some you could understand, some you have concerns in relation to. So it is important for us to pay attention, if we can, to Parliament tomorrow, so that we can hear exactly what is going on in relation to those monies. And so 440-7377. And remember, we are having a heat wave. I know heat if it wasn't for the air conditioner inside here. Heat for the last today as well. So you have to stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, cut back on drinking alcohol, because alcohol actually dehydrates you. A lot of people may not realize coffee also dehydrates you. So yeah, cut back on the alcohol and that sort of thing. As much as possible, try and get into a little open but shaded area, and so get some breeze, that kind of thing, instead of staying inside as much as possible, because we are going through a heat wave. which is 2 or more consecutive days of temperatures 31.7 degrees Celsius or more, and that is what we are going through right now. We have been having some very, very hot days lately, and especially for the elderly and for little children, babies and so on, that can't really talk, and so make sure that you keep them hydrated, that they have their water and so on, and especially the sick, and so that they have their water and you keep them hydrated. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sheldon, concerning with Eddie, I will see what he's really talking about. Because the people of Dabo have a better view than way the Prime Minister supposed to be. And even this present Prime Minister, where he's supposed to be, where he is now, doesn't model his young lady. He's shocked how to bring water for him. He's shocked how to bring water for him.
Does that use water truck down there?
You know, the water can go up, the water can go up on top there. He's shocked how to bring water for him. And where the Prime Minister used to live before, our Prime Minister Tilman Thomas and Honorable Keith Mitchell, you know how to get pumped, truck to bring water there in San Souci. So I don't see where Eddie talking about. He don't really know what's going on. He just there in an office, he just there in a place, and he just doing a program, and he all I know is talking. He doesn't go around nowhere to know what's going on. He don't need nitty-gritty about Dabo and River Road. River Road doesn't alter water. The only thing in River Road might have some little small houses and things.
But you see, the thing here is the concept. That's why I keep saying we're not focusing on the individual themselves, and we're focusing on the concept. The problem here is that they see the people of River Road and Dabo as nobody. They see them as nobody. Who is them? Why should I have to watch? Why should I have to look at them? You understand? It's like back in slavery days when Massa Billy House in a kind of way where you do have to go and watch when them slave and them working in the field. He overseers for that. So he built his house up in a place where he have a nice view or whatever. He might be able to see the fields and so, but he ain't paying attention to that. He ain't want to see where the slave huts is. He's not interested in that.
Well, that is the people. Some people does look as people like these kind of people as the God. He wants people to look at him as his God because he feels he might do a program and people listening to him. It's the same grade and people are listening to him to make him to reach where he is. Understand? Mm-hmm. But everybody are the people. Everybody are the people. So he are the people. Understand? But River people know when the time comes, they know how to deal with Eddie. Maybe he don't want nobody again. He doesn't want to sleep in nobody's house again. God help him so he could get big now, so he could checking about the River people is like dark to he. Because if he could say that if he didn't want the dark see them. But he having them he dark as different to the human beings as the people in the world. So I mean he will pay for his problem. And he will pay for his tongue in the mouth. He will pay for his tongue in the mouth.
Let's not focus on him, but the concept. All right. Thank you so very much, caller. All right.
Okay.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see sometimes you end up down a rabbit hole, and well, in Grenada it's crab. You might end up down a crab hole. I don't end up down that particular hole. 440, we have roughly about 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Could take one more call. 4405. Why are we saying 5? 440-7377. That's the number to call. 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside. Remember, tomorrow morning there is the parliament sitting. I know usually with 91.9, 91.5, they have their Friday morning program, which is focused a lot on the different things that has happened for the week and so on, the extension. So I assume that they will be having that tomorrow morning. I don't know if they will be bringing broadcasting parliament. I'm not sure if they'll be broadcasting parliament or so. But in case they're not broadcasting parliament, they have the extension will be on in the morning with them tomorrow morning. Their Sunday program, I think the last notice I saw in relation to the Sunday program is that the Sunday program will be back in September. So we look forward to that one with Real 91.9, 91.5. We have a caller online. Good night.
Blessed night, comrade.
Hail Yai.
Hail Yai.
Yes,
What's
man.
up?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, blessed night to all the listeners and the viewers. I'm a bit late, but nevertheless, I still join. I have a question, Sheldon. You might be able to answer for me because I had to make a contribution perhaps tomorrow or next week, but I need some facts. The whole question of the curriculum in our school, right? Is there any part of our curriculum where religious studies is being taught?
I know at various schools they do teach it. I'm not sure if it's an official part of the curriculum, but there is religious instruction at, I know at least at the secondary school level, at the primary school level. Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's at some schools do that because, you know, you have church schools. So I don't know if the schools are doing that on their own or if it's an official part of the curriculum, but it is there.
It is there. You see, I want to be sure that you know that is going on. It is something that is sanctioned by the Ministry of Education, or it is there, you know, and it is a right of every student to take religious education in school, and so because I'm going a different direction with that, yeah. And so, because we tend to want to propel all sorts of things, all right, and push all sorts of things within our curriculum. But I barely hear persons push for the whole religious question in school. But that's another topic for another day, because you basically run out of time. All right? Have a blessed night, my brother, and we'll keep in touch.
All right, thank you.
One love.
We basically out of time, folks. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your calls on the program, your interest in Talking Points, and all the other programs that you have out there. I always say, listen to the other programs. I know there are certain programs I wouldn't listen to. Yeah, that don't mean that you must listen to them, and I know that there are certain programs I definitely will not take my time, sit down and listen to. I still would not tell you don't listen to them, because sometimes it's important to hear them so that you know they can't come to you and sneak to you and you don't know who and what they are, that you hear them. They expose themselves so that you know exactly when they approach you, you know who and what they are. All right? So, folks, it's been wonderful being here. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Remember, in the morning from 9 a.m., Parliament sitting. So that's going to be an important one. Make sure and pay attention. I'm not sure if, because with this administration, you're not sure if they're going to be broadcasting it via radio and television and all that kind of thing outside of GIS. But it's important for you all to pay attention to that. That's what I was going to speak about, and it was something in relation to GIS. But we'll speak on that one on Monday. So as I said, that's all the time we have for Talking Points today. Gonna leave you all with this one. Love each and every one of you unconditionally.
This is not politics. Please don't forget, I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine.